Hey, we're going to go over the steps of factoring, specifically when I've got a coefficient at the front that is not a 1. So the steps are going to be really the same. We're just adding one extra part to it, and that would be multiplying whatever this front coefficient is times that constant in back. So I need to do 6 times 1 here to get 6. So I'll just put that up top. And then what we're going to do is we're going to factor that 6 looking the whole time for something that is going to add together to get a -5. And as we're looking at this, um, both of my and the only way to get a positive here at the back end by multiplying and a negative by adding is if both are negative. So to get that +6, I'm going to be doing both factors negative. So I could do a -1 and -6, or I could do a -2 and -3. Right? So as I look at those, -2 and -3 would go together to get me that -5. So those are the two I'm going to end up using. But I've got to be able to pull out a -6. So I need something, sorry, not a negative, a +6. I need something that will multiply together to get me a +6 out front and a +1 in back. And so anytime we've got the option of doing it, for -2, be a 2 and a 1, but one of those has got to be negative. So anytime I've got the option, I'm going to try and keep the front ones both positive. So I'll make that 1 a negative. And then for the 3, split that up as 3 and -1 because my 2 and 3 are what's going to go together to make my 6. So that means both of those need an x with them. And then I'm going to combine them. They're going to combine with the opposite factor because this 2 needs to multiply by this -1 and the 3 times this -1 to get that middle term added together correctly. The way I can think about it is just say one set here is going to be my outside and the other set is going to be my inside. Because when I do 3x and -1 there, those two multiply together to give me the -3. And then for my outside, those two, 2x times the -1 gives me -2. To get my -2 and -3 for -5. So I'll kind of multiply back to check. 3x times 2x give me the 6x squared. Just check those. And then -1 and -1 gives me that +1. So let's look at a different one. On number 2, I'm going to do the same thing. So multiply 2 times -18, which would give me a -36. And I'm going to factor that, looking for something that gets me a +9. So since I'm looking for positive when I add them both together, I'm just making sure that my larger factor is going to be the +1. So for instance, I did 36, -1, or -2 and 18. Let's say for 3, -3 and 12. Oh, so -12 and -3. 12 minus 3, I see gets me a +9. So that's what I'm going to be splitting up. Now I need a number from here and a number from here that are going to multiply to get me that 2, so positive 2. So it looks like I can pull a 2 from here and a 1 from here, and those are going to be my x terms. So 2x and 1x, those are what's going to multiply together to uh, get my 2x squared. And then that leaves me with 6 and a negative 3. And we'll just say those two go out, and these two go in. And it doesn't matter which one is which. If we swapped it, all that happens is the factors would be swapped in their order. So it does not make a difference. But I'll set it up, and I get a 2x here and a positive 6 there, and then a 1x there, negative 3 there. So just doing some quick checking. 2x times 6 gives me 12x. Negative 3 times x gives me a negative 3x. That gives me a positive 9 together. These two multiply together to get a negative 18. These two multiply to get that positive 2 there. Okay, looking at, let's hop over to the back side, and we'll get one more. So let's look at number 8. So right away I notice I've got numbers all divisible by 5. So the first thing I want to do on this is pull out a 5, which leaves me with x squared minus 9x plus 20. So I'll do that right off the start. And then if I were multiplying these together, um, really it's an extra step here because I get the same thing, a 20. But I'm still going to factor that to get something that adds to get me a negative 9. So what that means is my larger, well, actually, both of those, since that's a positive, both would need to be negative. So the negative 2, negative 10 doesn't work. And negative 4, negative 5, I think is going to be the one for us. So when I split these up, my coefficients that are going to get my x value would both be 1s. So 1x, and then negative 4, negative 5. And here, doing my out and in doesn't necessarily make a difference because we have 1x for both of them, but we'll do it just for consistency's sake. So I'd have on the outside 1x minus 4, and then another x and a minus 5. Make sure to keep that 5 with it as well. Right? As far as other ones that we're looking for, on number 10 here, we'd see what we can factor out. I'm thinking of 5 here, which would give me 4x squared minus 9 times 5. And when I see that, I automatically should recognize the difference of squares, which means it'd be 2x minus 3 times 2x plus 3, because those middle terms are going to end up canceling out. Okay, you've got the assignment for this. Just remember doing that housetop and finding your factors for it as you go along.